everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to 47 short, quick game reviews. Really fast. These are things that are going to be very quickly done. I'm just giving my thoughts on the game. I will either do a full review, or I've done a full review already, or I'll do a shorter review. I'll cover these games some other way at some point, probably. Maybe not all of them. But this is just a video for you to go and learn about a whole bunch of different games. Last week I did it in 13 minutes or so. Let's see how today goes. And last week we ended at Middle Ages. Today we're starting at Midsummer Night's Fair. Here we go. Midsummer Night's Fair is a game kind of like Roll For It. You're basically rolling some dice and then placing them on these different cards. Each card scores a different way. It's a cute theme. It sounds really nice. GameRight makes some nice little games. Unfortunately, this one here, it's just kind of boring. And once someone starts winning a spot, it's hard to take it from them, although there are some cards that do wild swings. It's a little too random. 5 out of 10. Milkman, a beautiful little game about picking up milk bottles and delivering them. Man, I thought I would love this game. Man, I hate it. One person's rolling a bunch of dice and doing a whole pile of actions. Everyone else is doing one boring action. And this continues until it's your turn, when you get a lot of dice. But the dice are so random. It just isn't fun for me. 4 out of 10. Millions of Dollars. This is a reprint of an older game from Matago in which you're a bunch of thieves going out and everyone plays a card at the same time, so it's like a complicated rock, paper, scissors. I want to like it more than I do, but at the end it just feels a little flat. 6 out of 10. Monkey Palace. This is the first Lego game of the reinvigorated Lego board game company. They did some, a decade or so ago, but this one's pretty good. I don't know if it's for families, but it's a nice build up these towers and score points. Some pretty thinky thoughts there, and it looks pretty neat when you're done. 7 out of 10. Monumental Duel. There's 3 different versions of Monumental Duel, but I mean, they're all basically the same in a sense for me. Average together. I mean, I don't think I like the Sabotage one as much as I like the Exploration one, but they each have a module that can be mixed back and forth. These I get an 8 out of 10 for me, and if as I keep playing them, I believe they're going to replace Monumental for me, because I don't think I need the board and everything. The duel games are pretty nice. 8 out of 10. Mycology. This is a mushroom collecting game. So many mushroom collecting games these days, and the person who made it loves mushrooms. Unfortunately, the game is a weird thing where you're rolling some dice and everyone gets the same resource, and it's like the designer played a few modern games but didn't really bother to develop this one fully. It's just not great. 5 out of 10. Nestlings. Man, I thought this game was super boring. I wanted to like it. Some beautiful components. You roll dice and then place them where the dice tell you to place them. There's some variation, but it's not much more than that. A 4 out of 10. Nocturn. This is the newest game from Flat Out Games, and I really liked their stuff in the past. Nocturn looked good. Unfortunately, I kind of enjoyed Nocturn the first time when it was it just feels like other games. And it's just too long, and there's a bidding process, and it doesn't feel very fulfilling to me. This one gets a 5 out of 10. Ovation. This is a card game about music. You are a musician getting things. You're building little combos in front of you. Just misses the mark for me. I love the theme of it. I love the ideas in it. The artwork's cool. But I don't know that all the card comboing ever really becomes that fun, or if it's just kind of like by the time you get some points, you're like, okay, anyway. So it's close. 6.5. Parkade. Do you think it's fun to park cars? I don't believe so, but the person who made this thinks it is, but it's not a very good game either. It's just a game about parking car. Anyway, 5 out of 10. Parkade. Parks Roll and Hike. So the Parks games have gotten a lot of love. This is the day in the Smurf and Write kind of category here, the roll and write here, where you roll dice and you're drafting dice and moving them. It's not particularly intriguing. Some dice seem clearly better than others. There's lots of combos, but you often don't have a lot of choice between your dice. I just found it to be boring. A 5 out of 10. Party Panda Pirates has silly little dumb games. Stack stuff. Do this. I don't hate silly little games, but you know what I don't like is when you add a complicated game around them. What? Who decided to do this? A 5 out of 10. Picky Eaters. This is a party game in which it gets nailed by the fact that there's a lot of food in this game and you're trying to make like the worst meal or the best meal or whatever it is. That's great. So give me a bunch of food to do that with. There's way too few cards in this game, which kind of ruins the whole thing. A 5 out of 10. Also, the rules are pretty terrible. Pinball Haunted House. Have you ever seen us play tumbling dice and wanted a generic version of that? That's what Pinball Haunted House is. I guess I shouldn't say generic because it's very much themed. It's a cheaper version. You use boxes and you roll dice out and try to land them on spots. That's fun. It's not as good or as quality as tumbling dice, but it's a more inexpensive alternative, and it has a fun pinball theme to it. 7 out of 10. POBODY's Nerfict. This one here is just a horrific little game. I give it a 3 out of 10. You just basically say spoonerisms and people have to guess them. That's the game. Also, it's terrible, bad rules, bad scoring. Everything about it's bad. Pocket Cats. This one's a 6.5, although I wonder if it will go up. It's an interesting back and forth where you have some cats and you're revealing cards and moving around in a grid. I just can't shake the feeling that there's way too much luck involved. But the art, the different abilities that cat have, it's so cool. It's almost there. 6.5. Polaris. This is it's a game about constellations, and there's a lot of these games now and scoring points, and it's just kind of, it's okay. 6 out of 10. I want to see something different. Potions of Azurland. Despite the somewhat kind of boring theme. Hey, we're getting potions again. But there's a lot of cool ideas in here. You're collecting things. I love the idea in this game where you assign tiles to your actions. That's a great mechanism. There's a lot going back and forth in this game. Great artwork. So I'm very much looking forward to trying this one some more. But for now, it's at an 8 out of 10. Rebirth. So Rebirth is a new Knizia game. And in Rebirth, you're basically placing tiles on the board and you're drawing tiles and placing them on the board. It almost has a Samurai feeling, but I like it better than Samurai so far. Just an enjoyable new game with some good quality production from Mighty Boards. A 7 out of 10. Rise and Fall. So this is kind of a funky game from Christopher Boldinger, in which it's like a war conquest game, but it's almost chess-like. Each turn you activate all pieces of one type, and then you activate all pieces of a different type. And some types produce others, some turn into others. There's too much in the box. It has Kickstarter bloat for sure, but I'm enjoying what I've seen so far. A 7 out of 10. River of Gold. River Gold's amazing. 8.5. Move down the river with your boats, collecting things. It's simple. On your turn, you have a die. You could use that die to get resources, to move your boat, or to build a building. All three are good choices. You like Lords of Waterdeep games like that? This game looks super complicated. It is not. Straightforward, one of the best Euro games of the year. River of Gold. River Valley Glassworks, a nice light game that anybody can play. Very easy. I've taught this many times this year to different people. As you are just moving down a river, paying stones to collect other stones, and then the stones you collect go and you score for rows and columns. Really simple game. That's fun. 7.5. Robo Rally Transformers. I've always been a huge fan of Robo Rally. I think the Transformers theme is weird, even though you can go back and forth between robot and car. Why are we programming Transformers? Aren't they self-aware? But take the theme out. It's fine. It's an interesting version of Robo Rally. I enjoy it, but not as much as like I used to enjoy Robo Rally. 7 out of 10. Rock Hard. Strong theme. Hard theme. This is a rock concert in a box. And it's designed by Jackie Fox, who would know such things. There's a lot going on in this game. I would give it a higher rating, but I don't know how much divergence there is from the different strategies. But it's so thematic, and the theme fits in really well. I have to say I enjoy it. A 7.5. Sacred Valley has a tiered board, and you're like, ooh, I'm going to build tiles up and score points. The tiered board doesn't mean a whole lot. The game has a lot of tiles that you can score to get various things that don't seem to do as much as I want them to do. And the game definitely has the whole idea of you block John, no, you block John. Oh, someone has to block John or John's going to score a ton of points. And I don't know that I love that. A 5 out of 10. Sears Catalog, spelled with 2 E's, is a card shedding game of sorts. And I'm giving it a 6 right now. Although I can see myself possibly doing a 7. It depends on the mood because it's such a weird game. You're trying to get rid of cards, but not be the first one to get rid of cards. It's kind of funky and weird. And I appreciate that. I just don't know if I like it yet. A 6 out of 10. Spotlight. You know what? I'm changing my rating of Spotlight here. Spotlight is a kids game that is just such a great kids game. I have to give it 8.5. It's one of the best kids game. It might be the best kids game of the year. As you have these big Where's Waldo boards, you're using a little spotlight to find creatures on them. It's just terrific. 8.5. Stickers. I'm still in the middle of my campaign of Stickers. It's a legacy card game with, well, you guessed it, stickers, and I'm playing also with kids. But this one works with kids and with families. It is a lot of fun so far. Anyway, I think we're like 8 games in, which, if you think about it, is pretty good. So definitely one I enjoy, 8 out of 10. Takoyaki. This is a game in which you're picking up ping pong balls or with chopsticks and putting them in order. That's the game. 6 out of 10. That's You. This is a party game where you're trying to use people at the table to pinpoint a characteristic. It's kind of the reverse of some of these games where you say who characteristics are. As long as your group is fairly good-natured, this is good, a 7 out of 10. The Good, the Bad, and the Goat. This is an Old West outguess, paper, rock, scissors. Too many rules and too many things going on for how little and small and quick the game is. Otherwise, I would enjoy it. It needs to be streamlined just a bit. As it is, I'm giving it a 6. The Year of the Five Emperors. This is a deck building game where you are switching switching the deck halfway through and how it works. You declare yourself emperor and suddenly your deck works a different way. I like it fine. It's interesting, although figuring out where to turn that turn, where to declare yourself emperor is a little tricky. So this one is also a 6 out of 10. This Bet Is Mine is a 2-player game in which you're placing cats and dogs that are shaped like numbers on the board. And then there's area control. And it just functionally doesn't work very well. We kept finding it hard to figure out where you could play stuff, and I just feel it's too funky. It's a game that if you show people, they'll go, that looks fun. It just isn't as much as I want it to be. 5 out of 10. This Game Is Killer is a mini game of aliens, or like Nemesis, very small. And I like it that way. It's a fast, fun little game. You got to throw yourself into spirit and realize you can die in about 1 minute. But if you do that, it's fun and enjoyable, a 7.5. Ticket to Ride Iberia and South Korea. The 2 new maps for Ticket to Ride, I'm enjoying them. Both, I think I like Iberia better than South Korea, go figure. Although I think South Korea is one of the prettiest maps I've seen in a while. But both do various cool things, which I'll cover in a full review. 8 out of 10. Tilt and Shout. This is a little device where you tilt it, the ball rolls towards your opponent. They have to say something in that category. They tilt it back, it rolls towards me. If the ball ever hits our end, we're out, or our team gets a point. Or the other team gets a point, I mean. Silly fun. It's better than it should be. 7 out of 10. Tower Up. This is a game I was not expecting to see at Gen Con. It's really quite good about building towers. And then you're moving down these 4 different tracks. It's hard to explain because it's very abstract, but it has some really cool qualities to it. Definitely you want to check it out. 8 out of 10. Tree Society. You're collecting trees. And each time you're spending fruit to collect these trees. Each one will score differently as you move up tracks on the trees. You think I would like this one more, but I think it just moved a little too slow for me to keep me from loving it. 6 out of 10. Typewriter is a 6 out of 10 for me, too. This is from Fowers. It's this, paperback. You're making words with typewriter buttons. Amazing components. And some really interesting ideas, but I think it's just too weird. It's too esoteric. It's too hard to explain to people how it works. And the game itself is kind of messing with the part that people want to do, which is make words. I don't know. Maybe this will go up, but we'll see. 6 out of 10. Undaunted 2200. This is a very fun, the series, the Undaunted series. I actually like this one the least. Still a 7 out of 10. Still a good game, but I miss the history. And I find these mechs and everything, it's just kind of generic. I never was able to get into the world. Van Gogh. This game needs a reworking with, some better, a developer in there, but it has a neat idea where you pick an action. Everyone gets to do this action, but you get to do a bonus. I love that. But it's just hard to figure out what all the actions do. You're just collecting paint, putting on paintings. There's a lot of cool things here. It's maybe someday. 6 out of 10. Warp and Weft. This is about weaving these strings, but you draft the strings first, which is kind of cool. And then you build them and score points in various ways. I enjoy it. 7 out of 10. We're Sinking. This is one of those party games that's a much bigger game than it. It's a much smaller game than it looks. It's this big game with a ship and it's sinking and all this stuff going on. But essentially, it's a big party game in a sense where a lot of people can play. And you go around and you're playing different cards, and some people don't care if the ship sinks. Some people do. I found it to be fun. A 7 out of 10. What Lies Beneath. This is a book where you go through and and you're scoring points and fighting things. And I found it to be too random, I think. I like the concept of it. It was very dark, but I never really was quite sure what was going on, even when I won and finally got through. But I cheated. I went back to a page I held. You know how that works. And anyway, don't worry about it. 6 out of 10. Whispering Woods. This is a pattern building game, but you're trying to make combos out of the patterns. It's different, high-quality components, and I like it better than most of the games in this genre, a 7.5. Wondrous Creatures. This is a very cool game. My kids love this one. They're teenagers. It's not a kid's game. It's a teenager game in which you are placing these creatures on the board that are 2 spaces, and you get resources, and there's card tableau building. Lots of great stuff in this game. 8 out of 10. And then Zoomies, a game about dogs running around. It's kind of like a King Domino or Dominoes style game where you're placing dogs out scoring points. It's fine. I don't love it, but it's a fine little game. 6 out of 10. Alrighty. Well, today took me a little bit longer. I did 47 games in 15 minutes and 22 seconds. Sorry about that, folks. But anyway, like I said, we'll do full reviews of these, or there's some full reviews up. Check out the Dice Tower for more stuff about these games. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. 47 reviews in 15 minutes and 22 seconds.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.